Okay, I'm Jeff Riddles, producer of Franchise Hockey Manager 3 and the soon-to-be-released Franchise Hockey Manager 4. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Adam is off tonight. He's at the Jets-Senators game, which last I saw, the Jets were managing to lose. So I'm flying solo tonight, so bear with me if I'm a little slow reading chat. Think I've got this set up so I can see everything here, but we are back with our 1975-76 LA Kings games. Question, there we go. Question chat. Lakos 1234. Date on the Steam release October the 6th. Pre-release is going to be on the 2nd for the Accelerate version of the game only, but then Steam and the official release is on the Friday. The 2nd is a Monday, the 6th is a Friday. So anyhow, we are at the end. If anybody's got FHM4 questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I will try to keep up with those. And in the meantime, we did a bit of a rebuild in the off season here after. I'll show you the history. We had been consistently in the playoffs for the last few years, and then the wheels just sort of fell off last year. 28, 43, and 9, 65 points. And out of the playoffs. So we made a few changes. Most notably, we got rid of Jerry Cheevers in goal. Traded him in the offseason. We're going to go with Gilles Meloche as our starter this year, and got a fair bit younger. Picked Roland Eriksson up from the WHA. He had a big season there last year. We drafted him a couple of years ago, so we had the NHL rights. I think, if I remember correctly, the Michigan Stags went out of business, so he was a free agent. So we picked him up and should help our depth up front a little bit. We are off to a okay start with that win against Montreal. And I think, just sim through the... Let me just double check that I haven't done anything odd with the lineup. No, that's pretty much as I remember it. Yeah, it should be okay there. So let's just sim through the end of this month and see what happens there. So we're playing the historical game tonight. If anybody didn't see it already, interesting thing, the NHL released today. They've apparently had a project going for the last 6 years. I haven't read all the details yet, but they've got the stats, score sheets. They've gone through the score sheets for literally every NHL game in history. And they've got game-by-game stats on the NHL website now. I haven't dug into it yet, but they've got that. They've added save percentage back to, I think, the mid-50s. And I'm imagining they're going to do more at some point. So a huge stats dump. If you're into historical hockey stats like me, it's amazing. We're obviously going to try and get that into the game as quickly as possible. Question from Lakos, will FHM4 have all the older logos, or will it be a mod again? Now, we've got some older logos. We've got basically everything the NHL could give us, but it's not entirely complete. There's a few things that they just don't have available. There's no Cleveland Barons logo for some reason, which kind of surprised me. Let's see how we're doing here. Wow, 10-2-0 start, so not bad for the rebuild. Either that or Adam's a jinx, and I'm never letting him on the broadcast again. But getting back to the logos, they're fairly complete. There's stuff here and there that's missing. There were a few oddities in the way the NHL wants them used, so I couldn't put certain things in, but I'd say they're probably 80 to 85% complete. Yeah, no Barons logo, but they have got a Kansas City Scouts logo, so go figure. Do we have any injuries? No, I think everybody is probably playing pretty well. Reggie Leach off to a good start. Terry O'Reilly, nice. Wow, everybody's scoring here. Gilles Gerton getting a little playing time, and Meloche playing. Well, just nothing at all wrong here. Yeah, tell me about the release on opening day. It just isn't fair. Yeah, that's... I wouldn't mind an extra week or two just to fit everything in. I mean, the game is actually in pretty good shape, but I've got a ton of stuff I've got to get done in the next week. Just final preparations and media stuff, and it's going to be fun for the next 7 to 10 days. Okay, I think I can... I'm just going to take a look. Do we have a development report? Yes, we do. Nobody significant, just a bunch of the guys that jumped to the WHA have declined. Willie Plett is a little better. And Malash has improved again. Erickson coming along. Solming, yeah, not bad, not bad. One thing we've got new this year, instead of having to go up there and do the action read all, there's just a button you can click and it'll read everything. Yeah, so it'll probably be the, let's see, yeah, the next stream where we would normally be doing this game would be after release. So we'll probably switch to something else. And I think Adam, going to go for another month. Adam usually continues these games on after we finish with them, just so you can see how the franchise wound up doing eventually. And this will be an interesting one to see play out. But I'm going to rush this a little bit this year because, hey, we're looking like cup contenders here. 14-3-3. I'd go in and play around with the roster, the lineup a little bit, but I don't want to mess with this. We're doing fantastic. Another development report. I'd like to get Darcy Rhoda into a few games. He's going to need that to develop. Oh, you want a Bruins playthrough? See, the Bruins used to be my Eastern team until 2011. Since the finals, not so much. I still got my Bobby Orr McFarland figurine right up there. It's only a minor injury. Yeah, Baroda's only 1.5 stars. I think I'm going to put him in the minors and see if that moves him along a little better. What happened in 2011? I don't talk about 2011. Roberto Luongo happened in 2011. That's where I'm leaving it. But yeah, the FHM 4 is coming along nicely. We fixed a couple of lingering problems in the last couple of days. An issue with the way minor league rosters are handled by the parent team, which should make some fairly visible improvements. And some other stuff. So we've got, we're relatively stable right now, so we can go back in and clean up things like that. Another good development report. And yeah, it's a nice thing about, oh wow, Younghans is 22 and he's already declining. Come on. Randy Maneri going down too. Yeah. But we are January 1st and looking pretty good on top of the Norris Division. And this is the late, I think this is the first year they went to the late 70s version of the divisions, which is the first one I really remember well, where the Penguins and the Norris, I don't remember that. Yeah, they were, I guess. Canadians were in the Norris with 4 teams that weren't even close to them. And Smythe was terrible, as it seems to be in this game. Kansas City still struggling. Washington was a big surprise last year, and it looks like they're still doing well. Instead of being that terrible team in 1975 in the game, they managed to put together a really good roster. And see Danny Grant, Judrin, Edur Pearson. Yeah, that's a really solid team. Somehow they managed to put together not quite a contender, but pretty close to it. So no terrible 1975 team for the Caps. And oops, that's them, not us. See what we're doing. So I think are we in first place in the league? Yes, we are by 8 points. So I would go in and change something, but I'm afraid to. Even though Lindgren and Kelly are just sitting there not getting any games at all. When's the trading deadline? March 9th. Okay, I'm going to run it through one more month, and then we'll look at maybe making some moves. Search filters for free agent staff. did we do anything with that? I don't think we did anything with that this year, although it shouldn't be something that's too difficult to do. Just trying to remember if there is a way to do it, work around other than the usual screen. If not, I'll see if I can get that on the list, because that would make sense and it can't be that difficult. 35, 13, 5, rolling right along. So you do a good enough job building the team, and you don't even have to intervene at all for... Oh, I swapped... No. Don't want that. Oh, I had set up organization. That's probably what did it. Okay, and I think the entry draft is, or the trading deadline rather, March 9th, so I can go through one more month like this. Question chat. A line mate chemistry system, question in chat about that in FHM 4. The way it works is players will have a chemistry rating. Some of them start with it with other players, like say the Sedines have high chemistry to begin with, or anybody that's really well known for playing for a particular player will have a high chemistry rating to start with. Otherwise, they'll develop chemistry as they go along. If you're playing and the more you play with somebody, if you're on his line during a game, your chemistry rating with him will tend to rise, and if it rises high enough, the rating will start to affect the way you play with that player. You complete passes a little better. I think I can't remember all the offensive effects offhand. Maybe get into scoring position a little better, and just generally be a little bit more effective. And right now it's a little bit more of an offensive than a defensive effect. And anything I need to look at here? Does nationality affect line chemistry? No, not right now. I could probably work that in easy enough, so it would be a little harder if you're a different nationality than somebody else to grow chemistry. His chemistry was developing way too fast in the first couple of tests we did with it. No. Okay, Alf Nielsen broke a rib, so he's out for a couple of months. Not good news. Oh, he's on the injured list. Roland Eriksson gets back into the lineup. And where are we standings wise? Yeah, 92 points, running away with the 26-point lead in the division. And looks like a solid 10 points lead at the top of the league, so I can play around a little bit here and give some ice time to the younger guys down the stretch. Make sure nobody important gets hurt for the playoffs, hopefully. But yeah, in general, the way the idea with line chemistry is to keep players a little bit, to give you a little bit more incentive to keep players together and not be constantly shuffling around your lines. Try to find something that works and stick with it, and that will, theoretically at least, improve your performance over time. Will players start with line chemistry? Yeah, some of them will. I can't remember if there is one for Bergeron and Marchand, but I should. I'll take a look later, and if it's not there, I'll add it. But yeah, there will be chemistry between guys who obviously should have some at the start, Daves and Kane, that sort of thing. And looks like was Marcotte injured? Must be just coming back. Now this is going so well. Yeah, Sedines have, I think, one, if not the highest. No, I think they do have the highest chemistry in the game to start off with. And it doesn't really help them a whole lot because pretty much every test I run, it's not a pleasant season for the Canucks, and their scoring goes down again. So Salming leading us in points. We did make a little tweak to the scoring, the way assists are awarded. So you'll probably see defensemen getting a few fewer points in FHM 4. Not a huge number, but the assists will drop off a little bit because they tend to be at the top of the assist leaders now. And everybody else playing pretty well. Game ratings, we just tweaked that a little bit. So you can see right now defensemen tend to do a little bit better by default. 4 out of my top 6 guys are defensemen on this. So we've inflated the forward numbers a little bit. So you would, if this was an FHM 4 game, you'd probably see Sharon being at or near the top, and I think it's offensive forwards in particular. You'd probably see Leach being a lot higher. But let's take a look around the league. See, Adam isn't here to push me into making trades, so I'm not doing it as often as I normally would. Rajan Ul is available, but actually, let's think about what we need here. We could, not crazy about going to the playoffs with Graton as a backup. Maybe like a 2-star goalie is just insurance there. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Defensively, thing is, we've got a lot of depth on the first 3 lines, even through the 4th line, and then it drops off quite a bit after that. So do I want to pick somebody up there? And what have I got to trade? Rhoda, he would go for probably get me a decent goalie. Is there any goalies on the trading block? Chris Worthy, and yeah, just 1-star guys. We did find in the course of testing a little bug with goalie development. Doesn't seem to have affected historical quite as much, but that will be, if that's fixed in FHM 4, yeah, see, we got quite a few 2.5-star guys. So what team is out of the playoffs and has one of those? Penguins are completely out. Kurt Ridley, 3.5 stars. Okay, that's actually a little more expensive than I wanted. And nobody in the minors, so that's out. What's Vancouver got? Ron Graham, maybe. Yeah, Kansas City has Andy Brown. That wouldn't be. He's not going to push Malash out, but he wouldn't be as terrible as Graton would be right now if I had to go to him in the playoffs. It's a possibility. Wings aren't doing well. What do they got? Jacques Caron. Pretty much the same deal as Andy Brown, about the same level. Kind of like somebody in the 1.5 to 2-star range. Try the Bruins. Wayne Stevenson's 2.5 stars. It's maybe a little more than I want. Look at the Flyers already. Oh, there we go. Cesar Maniago. We'll try that. Try for him. So I'm collecting Canucks in this game anyhow. One thing we did change in FHM4, right now, if you're looking at another team, you can't click on the trade offer button like that to start a trade offer. In FHM4, if you do that and you're looking at another team, it will open the trade offer window with that team, which seems like a logical thing to do. Saves you a little bit of clicking. And I don't want the Flames, I want the Flyers. And I should be able to get him fairly cheaply. Oh, they don't want to move. They just got Maniago, so they're not going to move him. So forget about that. Go with the Scouts then. And try for Andy Brown. Last guy, I think, who played goal without wearing a mask. Although I think he was wearing one by this point. Doesn't look like they'll accept that, so I will throw in a mid to late round pick. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, we traded all of our draft picks forward, or most of them last year forward. So we've got 3 first-rounders this year on top of being in first place in the league. And one of them belongs to Montreal, who isn't doing that well. So if I'll see about this 4th-rounder from California. Nope, they're probably not going to go for that. Do I need to throw in a goalie? I'll offer the trade. I'm not sure if they're going to go for it, but we'll play a few days and see. And did somebody get healthy? A few other trades going on already. Let's go right up to the trading deadline. What doesn't it like about my lineup? Go with the AI's line for the next week or so. Let's just let me go to the draft window and you can see what's this year. This is a couple of years. This was the player's not import yet. Guess not. This is, I think, a 20-year-old draft. I think this was Trottiers. No, Trottier was 75, 70. This was Trottier's rookie year, so 76, 77. I think that was sort of an off-draft year, now to think about it. Question from Gudu in the chat. Are there any ideas about adding interaction elements with the media? Right now it's looking like we may try to do that through the storylines. If trying to do it, I guess you're thinking like the way Football Manager does it. It's cool, but it's really resource intensive. You've got to put somebody on that pretty much, well, not close to, or if not full time, to do a good job. But Football Manager, actually, that's what Riz Remus is doing for Football Manager, at least what he was doing last time I checked. he does that part of the FM game more or less full time now. And which, I mean, seems like a waste of a good developer to me, but I mean, that's how expensive it is in terms of manpower to do, so it's a little bit hard to fit in. Oh, what am I doing here? I was wanting to make a trade. I guess I shot down that one we tried before. Was it the Wings who had somebody? Yeah, Jacques Caron. Try for him instead. So, I mean, we may be able to do a little bit like that, and I would like to get, the media integrated into the game a little more than it is now, but I'm not sure it's necessarily going to go in that direction. And on top of it being a little bit difficult to do there, for some reason, there's a lot of people who really, really hate that part of FM. And they don't want to move to Quran. Okay, back to trying for Andy Brown. Don't know why they would want to hold on to him that badly. Wow. Well, if everybody's going to be this tough to deal with about getting a backup goalie, I may not get one. What do the Canucks have? Ron Graham a little more than I want. Okay, Washington has Don McLeod, pretty good WHA goalie, who they just acquired and don't want to move. Oh, well, Montreal's got a ton of guys. All right. Doug Favell. He was actually a pretty solid starter. There's still at this point. He was, I think, playing for Colorado. And I played there in Chicago. He played for Colorado in '76, but may not have been there at this point yet. Oh, it's very likely. I'm reading that wrong. I thought it was saying very unlikely. So a third rounder and the rights to Pat Ribble for Favell. That seems reasonable to me. And they go for it. Good. Good, good. So there's our backup goalie for the playoffs. Greton can go to the minors. Favell gets dressed. And I don't think I have to make any adjustments to the start system. No lineup jam. Let's see what the AI wants to do with the players list. Yeah, that seems a little more reasonable. And Nielsen's still got 2 or 3 weeks left, so that will take us to... No, he'll be back before the playoffs. Okay. Go the rest of this month. This is a bit of a throwaway because I've got such a big lead. I'm not going to worry too much about what we do for the remainder of March. And although I should probably maybe go game by game and try to get Milosh warmed up before the playoffs, if he isn't already. And yeah, I kept using Kelly at center, so he's converted to that. No, Favell immediately declines right after we get him. But other than that, looks like people are coming along pretty well. 110 points, all-time best season, I think. But O'Reilly screws up his knee with 2 to 3 weeks to go. Ouch, that's... He's going to be off right before... Oh, yeah, Nielsen is almost back in. Just go to the start of the playoffs and see where we are. Oh, I was going to try and warm up Meloche. Forgot. Let's see if I can do that. Nielsen is back. O'Reilly is showing 1 to 2 weeks, so he should be back in the middle of the first round, I would hope. Looks good, looks good. Oh yeah, Meloche is 4 heat ratings, so I don't have to worry about that. And we are finished with the regular season. We win the what would be the President's Trophy later on by a pretty good margin, 1,414 over the Blues 105. Stats, I'm guessing, look great. Yeah, Salming with an 88-point year. Reggie Leach, who didn't even get first line time a lot of the time, 77. Marcotte, nice bounce back year from him. He was... Oh, actually, I must have come on. Yeah, minus 33 last year to plus 31 this year. Turned that around, and yeah, I mean, we were relatively injury-free, so I shouldn't complain about those few guys that did get hurt. Good seasons from Ochar, Russell. Yeah, not much to complain about all the way down. The only real disappointment was Eriksson, the guy we got as a free agent from the WHA. Meloche played 69. Favell got done. Well, one game, it looks like he played pretty well at the end. Meloche, maybe a little overworked, and I would have liked his star rating to come up a bit further. But hey, we were first place in the league. I can't complain too much. Just advancing day by day. Oh, that's why we're not getting a game right away. I forgot. I think this is the year they went to that weird pre-playoff thing. Yeah, they've got that first round best of 3 series that determines the matchups for the second round. So we're not actually playing in the sort of pre-first round thing. Have to get through that first. Oh, great. O'Reilly has a setback. How long is he out now? 1 to 2 months. Just what I needed. So no Terry O'Reilly for the playoffs, it looks like. Anybody? Nope, I'm going to have to, stick with that. Oops. Bruins win their series against Oakland. And there we go. We get the Bruins in the first round, or 1.5 rounds. So us in Boston, Minnesota and the Rangers, Leafs, Hawks, and Islanders, Blues. I don't think we still haven't had an expansion team win the Stanley Cup this year, or in this game. Nope, Rangers, Leafs, Hawks, defending champion Canadians. It looks like Montreal, did they miss the playoffs entirely? So they did 70 points, kind of a come down for them after the cup. And how are we doing on time? 20 minutes. Okay, I can afford to play these. I think I will leave the lineup as it is because I think we've been doing reasonably well. Yeah, 3, 4, 5 game undefeated streak. I will stick with that. Oh, and the Bruins have Bernie Parent in goal. That's not that great. But I will just sim period end and we'll rip through this really quickly. I'm not sure. I will try and fit all the playoffs into this stream because this may be the last one I do. And Catola makes it 1-0 for us. Would be nice to get a cup win on the last night of this. Fairly even so far. Bruins only 1 shot behind. We haven't done much offensively this period, but Reggie Leach makes it 2-0. And 2-0 going into the third. Should be a comfortable lead. Wayne Cashman cuts it to 1-goal lead. I'm going to get under 10 minutes. I think I'm going to go with a little more defensive strategy. Oops. Cut down on the offensive risk-taking, leave the tempo low, and I think that's good enough. Come on, hang on, and we get it, 2-1. So not the greatest game ever, although against the Bruins with Bobby Orr. They haven't got Esposito in the lineup, but so they're not quite the real early 70s Bruins, but they do have Orr and Parent in goals, so still a fairly tough team. Game 2. Yep, looks all right. Lash and goal, good. And looks like we're playing a little better this time. 8-2 in shots. 9-2, 11-3. So lots of shots, no goals. Need to pick up something here. It's a problem. They've got a 4 or 5 star goalie in net, and Bill Goldsworthy makes it 1-0 for them. And Catola ties it up. Good. And Borja Salme makes it 2-1. So 2-1 going into the third again, just like last night. Or a couple of nights ago, as it was. And Bill Goldsworthy ties it. Would really like to come out of this with a 2-0 lead. Parent is just the only thing keeping him in there. Look at the shot total. And we're into overtime. Chat suggestion from Guru, would it be possible to list if the player has preferred suggested line mates? Yeah, that's actually listed on the screen. You'll see the chemistry is displayed, and you'll see the guys he has some of the best chemistry with. And Bill Goldsworthy gets a hat trick to beat us in game 2. So basically, we got beat by 2 guys that game. Don't tell me this is going to be another thing where we've done this 2 or 3 times now. We have a great season in one of our games and then fall apart in the first round. If we don't get a little bit of offense in the first period, I'm going to ramp it up a little bit, I think. And John Van Boxmeer, 1-0 for the Bruins. And Catola is one of the only guys who seems to be showing up for this series, ties it up for us. Mike Antonovich. The Bruins are getting goals from everywhere, and we can't even get anything from our top guys. Okay, enough of that. High risk, pick up the tempo, and do I want to switch the line matching up a little bit? Put our second line on their top line, our top line on their second line, and match the third lines. Because I think we can beat these guys head to head. And is that some Bosniak for the Bruins? Is that it's Ron Bosniak. Yeah, 12 shots. Oh, there we go. Maloney gets us back within one, but 13 shots through 2 periods. That's just not good enough on a guy as good as Ferrand. And Salming ties it up. Hey, now we're opening it up. Antonovich again. Guy barely had an NHL career, and he's killing us now. And Gainey ties it up for us, so at least we keep coming back. Gameplay video for FHM 4. Question in chat about that. I think it's going to be very soon. We've got we were going through that with the NHL today. They've got to approve it first, and for some reason they've been approving everything else quickly. All the stuff we send them, except that one, is the video is hung up for some reason. I think there were a couple of changes they finally heard they had to make today, so I'm hoping really soon we can have something to show you. And if not, I mean, at least it'll be the pre-release on Monday, so worst case we'll be able to show you during the broadcast, I think, in the stream next week. Okay, back into overtime. And we started doing a lot better as soon as I switched to tactics, so I'm going to leave the tactics as they are, but let's not lose another one in overtime. And first overtime period done. Up to 50 shots in Perrant, and still nothing. And Bob Gainey wins it for us. And by the way, we did fix that little glitch you just saw where it counts down till the end of the period after there's an overtime goal. So we're up 2-1. I'll take a very quick look at how the other series are playing out. These are best of 7, I think. Best of 7 or best of 5 in this round that year. I can't remember for sure. Minnesota up with the Rangers, Chicago, and St. Louis. Nobody coming back from injury anytime soon. And I am going to go with that line matching that I used last game. That seemed to get us moving again. And sure enough, Reggie Leach, minute and a half in. Oh yeah, we're running away with this one, 15-3 on shots. 16-4, 18-4 at the end of the period, and Sharon gets one with 14 seconds to go in the period, up 2-0, so let's see some more of that in the second. Goldsworthy again. And Antonovich again, same guys. Antonovich again, what is going on with this dude? Reggie Leach ties it up. Mike Antonovich in real life, I think he played about 20 or 30 games in the NHL with Hartford and Minnesota after. having an okay WHA career, but for some reason he's killing me in this game, in this series. Do I change it up here? Let's hope we bounce back in the third. And Nielsen makes it 4-3, and I will go to something a little bit more defensive at this point. Already playing kind of low tempo. 10 minutes, oh, 2-man advantage, come on, and we got out of it. But sure enough, Goldsworthy ties it up again. But Katola with us 1 minute left in the game, and take a penalty at the end, but win that one 5-4. We got a stranglehold on this. And yeah, this is best of 7, so we can finish off the Bruins here. Try going back to the original line setup. So that was a little shaky near the end in that game. Oh, Willie Plett, how did he make it to the lineup? Yeah, he's in there, huh? No, I guess he's in for O'Reilly. Yeah, that's right. Goal from the fourth line. And we're playing this a little too close. I'm going to go to that alternate line matching again. See if that picks things up in the second period, but we are up 1-0 still. And blew a 2-man advantage there. Now gave them a 2-man advantage, but Harold Sneps, Harold Sneps scores while we're 3-on-5. Nice. And then Greg Shepard screws up the shutout, gets Boston back within 1, and yet another 2-man advantage. We got to calm things down a little bit here. I'll give this about, I was going to say I'm going to give this about 10 minutes, but Bobby Orr ties it up, so I got to leave. Can't go to a defensive strategy here. Reggie Leach gets us back ahead, though, so I am going to stop it right here. Really slow things down and get very defensive, and hopefully I didn't go into a defensive shell too early. Yeah, I'm going to slow them with, assuming we get out of this and get to the next series. I'll take a look at the roster and lineup after that and see who we're up against, and we win the series 4-1, so no choke this year. And looks like we get Minnesota in the second round. So the Stars are not that good. Looks like there's been a couple of upsets. We're in the middle of the Smythe. Billy Smith in goal. Not really looking forward to playing that in the playoffs. On Denny Potvin on D. Oh wow, these guys are actually pretty loaded. Steve Shutt, Rick Martin. Shutt's out for a couple of games. Centers and right wings a little shaky, but yeah, their first line looks awesome. And Ron Settlbauer's apparently doing a lot better here than he actually did for the Canucks in real life. They're stacked, but so are we. Meloche still 3 heat ratings, so that's good enough, I think. Let's have a look at our stats for that first round. Did find a bug the other day. There's advanced stats in the work properly in the playoffs. Now they weren't tracking in the I think FHM 3, but that should be fixed for 4. Leach playing well as usual. Salming Katola, I thought he had more goals than that. Sharon could be doing better. Nielsen, not much at all. And what did Malash do goaltending wise? 256, 896, good enough, I guess. And looks like the AI wants to stick with more or less what we did against the Bruins, so fine by me. And on to the Stars. And it looks like we've naturally got a bunch of countering rolls for their tactics, so... Whoops, I clicked sim, I meant to hit play, so that's game one gone and we lose 1-0. Didn't get many shots. Might have to open it up a little bit offensively. Okay, game two. Let's just going to switch this to what we were doing against the Bruins. And don't click on sim this time. If another thing with FHM4, we brought back a few of the options for that were in FHM2 as far as showing just the highlights or just the goals. So you've got you're not stuck with only playing just simming to the period end like I'm doing right now. And wow, we're flying this game. 11. Oh, well, we were up 11-2 on shots, but they got one back on us there, but we're still dominating here. Oh, come on. We're out shooting them 17-7. We're losing 3-2. Fantastic. Four to 2. What is going on here? How did these guys do that badly in the regular season? And Maloney gets us back within one at least. And Randy Maneri ties it up. Okay, now we're going. But immediately give Rogers a puck, and it's back to 5-4. And Bob Gainey ties it up at the end. So it's looking like an 80s game, tied 5-5 at the end of the third, or end of the second. No, I don't think I'm going to change anything there. We've got most of the tactical advantages, so I think if I'm just patient here, but Settlebauer scores. Oh, and Rogers again. What's wrong with Melange tonight? That's really going to cool him off, too. That's not good news. Down 2-0 with a cold goalie. Edward gets one back, so I will push really hard for a tying goal here. Not optimistic. But Gainey gets it. Hey, 7-7 tie. Nothing like tight, close checking playoff hockey. We'll keep the tempo a little higher. Okay, and going into overtime, 4-on-4. Well, get it at our end. Ah, no. Brian Lefley, of all people. 2 goals in 1 game. Did the guy even score in the NHL in real life? I know he may not have. And we lose 8-7. Don't believe this. Okay, what can I do with the lineup to get this turned around? Kelly's not doing well at all. I'm going to pull him out. Young Hands or LeBreton. He's going to be on the bottom line. I'm going to put Young Hands in just as an extra checking forward. Oh, what hit the wrong button there. Let me switch that. Okay. About as good as we can expect, I think. Oh, settle. Yeah, look at this. Two guys on that get the great game performance news story. Settlebauer at 5 points. Oh, God. And Rogers at 6. What a mess. Okay, that game didn't happen. We're going to bounce back now. I hope. And Pot Van Soor's on the second shot of the game. And Rogers again. Oh, man. I'm kind of wishing I had Jerry Cheevers back in goal now, as we are in big trouble. Okay, I got to make some changes here. Do what we can, but I'm not real optimistic at this point. Oh, Reggie Leach gets us back to 2-1, but Rogers again 3-1. Gainey makes it close at least. I know, it looks like Milosh has just completely fallen out of his groove, and Smith's still playing pretty well. And a bad luck there. I mean, we run into the first 2 rounds of this playoffs. We hit Bernie Perrant and Billy Smith, 2 of the best playoff goalies of all time. And Rick Martin, 4-2. We are, oh, come on, Settlebauer at the end of the period. I'm almost tempted to put Favell in goal for Game 4. Can't do any worse. Such a good regular season, too. And 5-2 final, so that may be just about it for us for the playoffs. And I'll put Doug Fiamalosh is down to 0 heat ratings, so might as well put Favell in. Certainly can't do any worse. And hey, we scored the first goal for one, our first shot for once. And Hedman, see now I changed goalies and all of a sudden we're doing great. 3-0. So at least they're not going to sweep us. We get a little dignity. 4-0. Wow. And cools off Smith a little bit. You never know. Oh, not a bad effort. Backs against our wall, and we come up with a 5-0 period. Just hope it's not too little too late. And I'm not going to change a thing from this lineup for the next game. There goes a shutout. So we will, well, I got another one there, but we should make it to Game 5 at least. Hopefully doing it injury-free and Not letting any more goals, so at least Favela warms up a little bit. What's happening in the other series? And St. Louis up 2-1, so it's looking like we'll finally get an expansion team cup winner this year. Just may not be us. And I'm leaving Favela in goal. And we score first again. I have no idea why we're suddenly turning it around, but I'm not going to argue. Although we're not. Yeah, there we go, tied up. But one game at a time here. Oh no, there we go. Now we're down 2-1. 3-1. 4-1. Oh well. I guess he was good for one game, and that's about it. Try and claw our way back into this, but I don't think it's going to happen. Nope, 5-2. I think that is the end of the season, boys. Oh, no. And I swear I didn't do this on purpose. The game just crashed. So much that I didn't. I know I've had the monthly saves on, so not sure how much of that I lost. Not even sure why it crashed there. I'm going to try and restart and just see where we are, but I think I'm going to have to wind up the stream here. Not on the best of notes, unfortunately. Well, we've had this game running for how long now, and oh wait, I think I loaded the wrong one. Oh, it looks like it still is in the middle of that series. Oh, how's that for timing? It must have just saved right before the game. Last game, so pretty much perfect timing there. So I will just replay that last one. I'll just sim it this time. So we barely lost anything. Good enough. And Adam can edit that together and it'll look like it never happened. So let's just sim game, and we win another one. Okay, I'm going to go with simming here and see if we can actually pull this series out by not playing the games. And that was apparently a bad idea because we just lost 7-3, and that is the end of the season. And probably the end of the Harold Sneps gets injured to boot. That will probably be the end of the Kings streams. I think Adam will probably sim this a little farther in the future, especially because the team looks really good right now. And we can, I'm guessing this team probably wins a cup somewhere in the late 70s. But Blues and Hawks are tied. Let's see how that winds up. And Blues and Stars in the final to see who becomes the first expansion team to win a Stanley Cup. And the winner is, drumroll, St. Louis Blues. I'll take a very quick look at their lineup. Tony Esposito in goal. Yeah, pretty solid lineup. Mark Tardif, Rick McLeish, Looks nothing like the real Blues did. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice. Craig Ramsey, Jacques Richard. Wow, 124-point season for McLeish. Yeah, McLeish, Rene Robert, and Mark Tardif. That's a pretty good first line. FHM4, Gudu asking in chat if FHM4 streaming begins next Wednesday. Tentatively, yes. May depend on getting the okay for a couple of things, but we're hoping we can do it then. Worst case, we do one more year of Adam's modern Detroit game. If not, if we have to do that, then it will be the first FHM4 stream will be the week after that. And I'm not sure if we'll start a new game yet. We may just run through, I'll be able to show you the new features instead of just talking about them. Since there's I won't be able to, say show the historical games in, the new historical features in a modern game and a new modern style game and a historical game. So we may just flip around through a couple of different ones and not actually play that much. But let's just take one final look at how we wound up in this. There is our Kings history. So we finished a fair bit above 500, 315, 279, 104. Guy Charon, our all-time point leader, and Jerry Cheevers. How'd he do this year anyhow? Not too bad of a year after we traded into the Rangers at the end of last season. But he's getting a little bit older. Blues win the first expansion cup. And let me take one quick look here at the WHA wound up. And the Cleveland Crusaders, if I remember right, are just about to go out of business. Win the WHA Zavco Cup in 1976. And I'm just curious to see what the stats. PWOG, yeah, Steam date is October 6th. So the the pre-release will be on the 2nd, the Monday, for the for the Accelerate version. Yeah, typical WHA stats from that era, 150 points. So the Steam release, or the pre-release for the Accelerate version, will be on Monday the 2nd, and then the Steam version will be Friday, the October the 6th. Friday, yeah, that's right. That's right. Same. It's NHL opening night, or is it opening night, or is it? Oops, just mashed my keyboard. That wasn't intentional. Okay. Should wrap it up here. I will do my best at Adam's usual wind up. If you have any questions about the game, come visit us on our forums at otpdevelopments.com, or follow us on Facebook or Twitter. We will also ask questions on the Steam discussion page for the site. We'll keep an eye on that. A lot of discussion now. There's the new FHM4 forum is open, so if you've got questions or you want to learn a little bit more about FHM4 before the release next week, you can ask on there or read up on it. We're going to be sending a lot of press stuff out in the next week or so. I think Operation Sports just ran an article on us, and we've got a couple, one or two more interviews coming. I think there's a newsletter coming out soon, so you'll just be bombarded with FHM4 stuff hopefully in the next week or so. Working on possibly doing an AMA on Reddit sometime next week. I will hopefully have the details of that very soon. I think they're close to working that out, so we'll let you know if that winds up happening there, and various other things. So stay tuned, and hopefully we get a nice smooth release. Everything seems to be going pretty well so far with FHM4's development, so we will get that out the door hopefully on Monday, nice and smoothly, and then everybody will have it the following Friday. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you next week, possibly with the Adams Red Wings game, possibly with an introduction to FHM4. So one way or the other, we'll be here. See you in a week or so. Oh, and Adam may, I'm not sure what he's planning on doing. He may he's come on right before the weekend a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, so he may be doing some extra streams. I'm not sure whether or not he's planning on doing that this week though. But since he wasn't on and skipped out to watch the Jets play tonight, it wouldn't surprise me if he does that.